In this quick video, we'll look at how to process manual credit card transactions. In other words, this might be credit card information that you had mailed into you, maybe that you collected at an event or something you're taking over the phone. So we're going to be using the virtual terminal feature of Vantiv. We're starting here at the standard IQ screen. This is what you see when you log into Vantiv. To get to the virtual terminal, we're going to scroll over to the Operations tab here. One click will give us the drop down, and we'll scroll down to the virtual terminal option here. So one click takes us to this screen, and we're going to work this top to bottom. So we'll start with transaction origin. This is important. When you click on this drop down, you have a lot of options. Namely, you have every single chapter and Sierra Club entity at your fingertips here to put money into. So please choose wisely. We're going to go scroll down to my current home state, Washington, and we will test their system here. The method of payment will default to credit card. Transaction type, this next field, as we scroll down, the only thing you will have the option to do is sale, which is good. That's all you'll ever want to do. So click sale. Order source, don't even worry about those options, just stick with e-commerce. It makes no difference. Transaction details. This is pretty self-explanatory. We're going to let's do a $15 donation. Credit card number, I'm going to let it just default to my current credit card. CVV number, that little 3-digit code on the back of a card. You do not need it. You do not need to ask for this on mail-based forms anymore. If you have it, feel free to put it in, but it's absolutely not necessary. I would not worry about it. Order number, this next field. This is interesting. The system is suggesting that you have a unique merchant order number that you create in order to be able to search for the transaction later. I think this is a little unnecessary for most of our chapters. However, I would recommend that you get in the habit of at least adding your entity code, which is a 4-digit code, and then you can add other digits on to the back of that as you'd like. But if at least you add your 4-digit entity code, it will help us track in the future. If you don't know what your entity code is, go to Wild, the volunteer directory for chapter leaders. It looks like this. If you scroll over the name of your chapter, so we'll stick with Washington State here, you can see the URL that it's leading to has an entity code at the back end of it. It's 1100. This is true for all of these chapters. If we move over to Washington, D.C., we see that it's 6300 for the D.C. chapter. So we're going to go to Washington chapter and the 1100. So going back to Vantiv and the merchant order, we're going to put 1100 in there. Excuse me. We're going to put 1100 in there. And we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some random digits at the end. Customer ID. This field is perfect to put someone's member ID into. It's not a requirement. Again, it just really helps us if we have to search for a transaction after the fact. Finally, sales tax. Do not put sales tax in at all. You do not need sales tax. Billing details. This is pretty self-explanatory. Also, fill in the donor information here. We'll stick with mine. And then finally, the custom billing descriptor section. It accidentally populated that field, but just keep it blank. You do not need to put anything in it. Last but not least, as you are probably guessing, hit the Submit Payment button. You will get a confirmation screen with all of the information you just entered. Go ahead and double check it. Hit Submit. Voila, you get this beautiful green confirmation banner across the top of your screen. This tells you everything you need to know. This went through, and it also gives you a unique payment ID number. This is a unique number for every payment that's processed. This I would recommend saving somewhere. Maybe you have your own system for it. You could put it in Helen, in the notes field. This is something to keep track of. It's just a nice way to identify this exact transaction whenever you need it in the future. Last but not least, if you have multiple transactions to do, you will see that again in this top field here, it's waiting for the next gift. It's auto-populated it with the same chapter that it just processed a gift for. So fortunately, you don't have to choose your chapter every time if you're running multiple transactions. just the first time, every time you log in and start entering a bunch of manual transactions. So remember that, but it will auto-populate for you. If you have any questions on this at all, here's the contact information to get in hold of someone to help you out. Don't go at this alone if you're feeling uncomfortable with it. Hope this was helpful. Thanks very much.